Okay, so here we are. Let's just look at the two formats that I have for each of the modal cages. We have one and its minor is the sixth, fourth major and its minor is the second, fifth major and its minor is the third, and then half diminished. Okay, so that's the format of this description of each of the modal boxes. So this would be E major shape, D minor shapes, 6 minor, A major shape 4th, E minor shaped 2nd minor, A major shaped 5th, G minor shaped 3rd minor, and that would probably be an arpeggio, and then a D half diminished shape. We'll look at that. We happen to have another root box right over here. Okay, so let's look at that. We have a D half diminished shape. Well, first thing to do is look for the D. Here's the D shape. It actually goes out of the cage, but that doesn't matter because we can bend the rule there, because we're not going to be playing 5 root 7. We're going to be playing 4, 7, 2. That is in the cage. So when you're talking about a chord shape, we're talking about a chord shape. It doesn't matter how we derive that chord shape from a neighboring, whether we want up in the word cage, which we do mostly in the shape fitting. If it isn't going to fit, I'm going to go up one position in the word cage. So we'll see that. For instance, DC, you can actually fit 2 positions there. So the minor for 5 root 3 is D and C. So 5 root 3, okay, is there. The minor, its relative minor, is going to be 6 root 3. Okay, but in the D shape and the C shape, we're going to be looking at 3/6 root, second inversion, action fingers. What do I mean by action fingers? Let's put Mr. Capo on this, where your fret nut is. By action fingers, I mean in a C shape, here's action fingers. Okay, in a D minor shape, right up here, the G, B, and the E top string. Action fingers, okay? A minor, I'm talking action fingers here, D, G, and B string. There's your A minor shape, okay? I think Mr. Capo is making things out of tune. Okay, we're back. Did a little tune-up. I like to do that on 2 of my cars, but I don't know what I'm doing. As well as the mechanics do. So, I'm teaching guitar here, and I hope you all are learning something. If you pay attention, and you will learn something. So let's look at this 5 root 3 here. This is a D shape, action fingers. 5 root 3, key of C, G, C, E. But we're going to take that same shape and we're going to do a minor. So now, where's our low D minor? Right there. Now it's a D minor shape. So here's D major shape. Drop that third, we got a D minor shape. Drop that D minor shape down 1 because we're playing the 7th, not the root. Now drop the 5th, 1 more to the 4th, and there's our D minor half diminished shape. Okay, try to make a point there. So that's where that particular description of that chord, 4, 7, 2, action fingers right there. It's a pretty good way to describe it. So this whole system of these guys up here, aside from just the cages themselves, is involved with describing familiar chords. So while we're here, let's look at the D box. Okay, everybody loves the D box, right? So here's our D box. Okay, so we can focus on it. D 2 3 4 2 3 4. Okay, now we're going to be doing the cutout. We're not going to have 2 3 4 5, 6, and the 7 over here, we've got the 7 here, because this is our D box now. So we're playing long patterns, just like I showed you the pattern stack with the dashes and stuff. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 long. That's A long. Okay, so 2, 3, 4 is Dorian, 5, 6, 7 is the Mixolydian, root 2, 3 is the Ionian, 4, 5, 6 is our Lydian. Now we're going to have the cutout or the crossover to the previous patterns. Now one thing we want to think about is the D minor in the key of C is 2, 4, 6. So here's our cutout, is at 4, finish half the string shape and start at that 6 again, which is the local 5th of that mode of Dorian. That's one way to do it. Or just look at, the top string is going to be 2, 3, 4 string shape, right? Same thing. What's the 4th of D is G. And the 5th of G is D. So going down in the strings, we go to the 4th string shape, 6, 7 root right there. 4th of G is C. Now the 4th of C is E in caged. Okay, so it forms a C, E, A for 1, 4, 5. And then the E shape forms an A minor, which is E, A, C. So the 4th of E is A, the 5th of E is C. So the 5th of E shape is the C shape, the 4th of the C shape is the E shape, and I'll show you. Here's our E shape. I'll do it on F. Okay, the 5th of that is the C shape, and the 4th of the C shape is the E shape. Okay, but now in 1, 4, 5, if we have E, the 4th of E is A shape. Okay, what's the 5th of E is going to be the C shape. We have to go down here for it, so that's the only difference. But if you're starting in D shape, 4th of D shape is G shape, 4th of D is G, 5th of D shape is A shape, okay, and the 4th of the A shape is the D shape. So it works. Let's look at what we have written here. We've got 1, 4, 5, and the half diminished. Of course, in the D box, we have a D-shaped root. Second inversion. Now, all these are derived from the C shape, goes to the E shape. Okay, E shape goes to the A shape goes to the D shape. Okay, they're all primarily second inversion if you think about it. In this case, we've got the D shape way up on top. Okay, so we got 5 root 3. Now take the caged letter, advance it 1, and you get what? Now we kind of have to get a little more perspective here. So we got to zoom on in and look at what's going on here. The D shape right here, 5 root 3, action fingers, our favorite little D. If your fretnet was here, your E would be the 2nd of D, or whatever. Now, take the caged word and advance the D shape and start the word caged over again, because it goes in a circle. Yes, it does. It goes in a circle. So let's look at that little caged circle here. Do we have it? C, A, G, E, D. So advance 1 from D and you're at a C again. Now the big letters are the 5th, the strings. So you start on the C string shape, you go to the G string shape, notice it counts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7 root 2 in the old system. So it's caged. So the D shape goes